Hello, this is Disturbing Puppet back again with some more Blood Bowl 2. It feels like it's been a long time. It's been really hot, so I've been trying to wait for some time to pass for the heat to go, but still sticking around. So I got a fan here going. Normally I have like a little portable cooler that I've got running, but it's really noisy, so I can't really run it and stream at the same time. So right now it's about 90-some degrees outside. With the portable cooler, this room stays about 70-ish, mid-70s, high 70s. But I really can't run it and actually stream at the same time. So I'm just going to try to do a quick stream here with the fan going, hopefully not melt in the process. Just to give you an idea, let me turn the portable cooler on. Probably sounds like I'm in a car driving down the highway. It hasn't even really kicked on yet. It's just a fan so far. It starts making like a whole noise at the same time too, so that's enough of that. So anyway, today we're going to continue with my High Elf team, doing the next game in the season. So I do have this game, the season going on Twitch, and then I'll eventually upload games also to my YouTube channel, which is also Disturbing Puppet. So just kind of checking, making sure everything works here before we jump in. Kind of look at the teams, and we'll go from there. Yeah, looks like everything's working okay. Alright, so next up I have a necromantic team to play against. So I'm playing a High Elf team. This is my team, the Talons of Tiranoc. So we've got a pretty high team rating here, especially compared to my opponent, so they're going to get all kinds of crap that's going to make things difficult for me. So I've got one thrower. So far we've picked up a kickoff return and strong arm. Then I've got a couple catchers here that I've leveled up once, so they have dodge as well as catch. I've got a couple other catchers down here, one of whom hasn't leveled up at all yet, and another one that I picked up Nerves of Steel with, mainly just because it affects enemy tackle zones for catching or intercepting. It's been a while. I feel kind of rusty, actually, with this, remembering what my guys have and stuff. So we've got a Blitzer, leveled up a few times, picked up Tackle, and then Strip Ball. And then my other Blitzer just has Block, hasn't leveled up yet, not quite there yet. A couple linemen I've added Block to, one lineman I've added Guard to as well. I've got some money, but haven't really spent much recently. I would like to increase my team rerolls, but every time that I go through and add one, my opponent always picks a Halfling Master Chef, which then steals all my rerolls. I think it's a D6 roll for how many they steal. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to actually look at that in a bit more detail to check. I could pick up another team reroll. It's only 100,000. Must be because I finished the first round of the season, so it's cheaper right now. I think it was 150,000 before. What I had set up was I wanted every team to play every other team twice, so I did kind of a round robin and another round robin. Unlike the first game, you can't really set it up with a certain number of games and teams, so you'll play every team twice, and it adds it all together. It kind of treats it as separate competitions. So I have a round robin, then another round robin, so all the teams play each other. Then we'll go into the playoffs. Total 8 teams in the league here that I've got going. So tempting to pick up another reroll, since it is 50,000 cheaper. Yeah, why not? It'll probably just get stolen by the Halfling Master Chef, but oh well, I guess. He's going to have a lot of points for stuff anyway. So let's take a look at the Necromantic team. They are probably going to beat me up a bit. It's actually only got 11 people. So we've got a white with Mighty Blow, a white with just the block and regeneration, werewolf, claws, frenzy, regeneration, strip ball, okay. Some zombies, one zombie with block, another zombie with block, ghoul with dodge and catch, that's interesting, doesn't have a passer, but catch, I think that helps with her handoffs as well. Dodge and sidestep. One flesh golem. Not fun. So I have been playing Blood Bowl for quite a while. Second edition board game is kind of when I started, and then I played the previous game quite a bit on my 360. A lot of the teams weren't on there, though, which is why I've been playing some of them that weren't there, like the Chaos Dwarves, High Elves, and before that I was playing Undead. I played Undead for the board game, so my instincts often are to kind of smash things, make openings, and go from there. I do really enjoy playing more agile teams too, but I tend to have an instinct to, especially if I don't have a lot of time or I'm in a rush, just hit stuff and make openings. So I'm a pretty decent player, but I'm not perfect or anything. I will make mistakes and miss things, especially when I'm streaming and when I'm melting in the heat, like today. So hopefully I won't make too many goofy mistakes and cause any problems, but I'll try to include some sort of typical early player advice, some things to kind of keep an eye on, or talk through my thought process about what I'm doing and why, just to kind of give people some ideas of things to kind of keep in mind when they're playing, how to handle the AI, that kind of stuff. So I'm just playing against the AI, not an actual person. I'm just kind of messing around, having fun, and figure if I'm doing it, why not stream it? So again, I put the stuff up here on Twitch, and then also we'll usually put the games up on my YouTube channel as well eventually. I'll leave it up on Twitch for a while first, though. So I just don't want this to disappear completely once it's gone. So I did play through my Chaos Dwarf team previously, and all those, well, all the games that I streamed anyway for them are up on my YouTube channel. All right, let's hit it. I'm not going to spend any money. I could have saved some and spent some on something, but fine. Let's see what my opponent's going to do. All kinds of stuff. Extra team training, Halfway Master Chef. And 2 star players. Hack, I think, is the Chainsaw Goblin.
And your phone is switched off.
I think the AI often picks the Chainsaw Goblin. It's a pretty common thing.
In the way of a head coach and his blood bowl.
So it's been almost 2 weeks since I played last, actually, so I'm feeling a little bit rusty. Like I said, I was trying to hope that the weather would cool off a bit, so it'd be a little easier for me to do this. But oh well. If it's hard to hear anything or the fan is too loud, if you throw a comment in the chat, I'll try to notice it. I have to Alt-tab out to take a look at it, but I'll check occasionally. Yep, Chainsaw Goblin.
I love this type of game, Jim. Such an unequal rating. It's gonna be whole fail slot. All the way.
And some kind of star player ghoul, maybe. So take a look at that. I'm a little worried about this game, actually. I don't want to get my guys all slaughtered and cost so much to replace. So when I do have the choice, I almost always will take kick the ball, which means that you'll get the ball for the second half. I do like to start the second half with the ball in case things are going bad. It kind of guarantees I'll have a chance then. If you are playing a really fragile team, you might want to go first. You kind of get your hits in first that way. So we just stole one of my rerolls. That's good. And kicking team does set up first, so I've got to set up first. So let's take a look at his star players. There's the secret weapon for the chainsaw. He's got regeneration. Okay, that's interesting. Chainsaw, not good. Loner, sidestep. Okay. The ghoul, 8 movement, so he's pretty fast. Dodge, diving catch. Catch, loner, sprint. Diving catch, effect, interceptions. No. Okay. I'm just worried about possibly getting intercepted, because that's often how I'm going to end up moving the ball around. So I have some kind of a goofy setup here. It kind of gave me the default width. So I'm probably going to put the fewest number of people I can on the front line. So I've got a couple guys with block. Put just any of my other linemen on there is fine. And then I want my guy with guard. Where is he at? There he is. So swap him out. I usually try to, with the High Elves at least, have as few guys on the front line as I can. Just the 3 kind of limits how many guys are getting hit, especially with a Flesh Golem and chainsaws and that kind of stuff. That's what I will probably do. With a more bruiser team, you might want to have a guy with guard in the middle, block guys adjacent. You might want to cover the whole center line, or at least have 5 covering the center. What I'm kind of doing here is just sort of covering things a little bit deeper, having the fewest number of guys on the front line who can take hits. I've got my guy with guard. I can move on my turn up to support. I've got the edges a little bit covered deep, and then I've got one guy back deep. So this is kind of a typical sort of setup I would do against a more agile team. Even with a bruiser team, if you're playing somebody really agile, you might want to have guys that tackle out on the edges if you can. Have as many tackle zones as you can, covering the whole length of the field. But for this kind of situation, I want as few guys taking hits as possible, so we're going to call that good. I was actually only putting 3 guys on the front line. So this square, or the X here, is kind of where the center of the field is, so I usually just go ahead and kick, or in my case, throw for that. I basically just want the ball to stay on the field if possible, so he's got to make die rolls to pick it up. If it ends up deviating off, and if you don't have the kick skill, it does deviate a lot, then that might end up off. So if it bounces off, he can basically pick who's going to start with the ball, and that's what I don't want to have happen. So I'm hoping that doesn't bounce back. But I actually am getting the chance to change my setup if I want, and I may do that. So what I might actually do is move into positions where at least a couple of my guys can't even get hit. So really my defensive line is sort of back here. This is just a guy who's going to get hammered. The opening he's going to create here in the center, I've got somewhat controlled. I've got a pocket sort of ready to go. I don't really have anything else I could do. I could potentially pile up a bunch of guys on here to make it harder for him to throw blocks, but he's got guys he can move up for assists and things anyway. So against a bruiser team, I don't really want to mess with trading shots back and forth. So I have my guy with strip ball on that side, and I'm actually going to change just in case, because the ball hopefully will end up down here. So I'll have a guy with strip ball there. Yeah, that's relatively okay. Okay, ball stays in play. Excellent. So it's pretty far back, and he's also got to make die rolls to pick it up, so that's good.
That's a holding maneuver if ever I saw one.
So it'd be nice if he failed to...
Pick up the ball.
Oh, well.
Apparently it's more difficult than it seems.
So he's going to do the typical undead thing here of just sort of building a cage around the ball carrier while beating up everybody else and trying to make openings that way. What I can do with certain teams that have kind of designated ball carriers, so in this case like the ghouls, werewolves to an extent as well, but you can really kind of target them. It really works well for teams that are much lower with agility in general, so like lizardmen, if you can take out all the skinks, the sauruses can't really handle the ball. So if I can take out his ghouls, then that will make things a lot easier for me. There's fastest guys. There's a failed going for it roll. Let's see if it fails it again. Okay. I've had terrible luck with going for it rolls in this game. I don't know if anyone else has, but I definitely have. I actually have had such bad luck with it that I'm incredibly reluctant to even do it anymore. It seems like it happens roughly about 50% of the time instead of 1 in 6. So in Blood Bowl, typically the thing you want to do, anything safe first, then anything that requires die rolls. So this poor guy here, we'll just stand him up. I don't really need to get him out of that position. He's just kind of got one zombie on him right now. If I was going to dodge him out of there, I might wait and do other things first, and then get him up and dodge out, because you have to do everything with one character before you move on to the next. So let's see if we can move in towards the ball carrier here. Even if we just kind of threaten from that direction, we might draw some people away.
There's a couple pretty good players on the field, Jim. They're just hiding.
Thinking about possibly throwing a block here, so what I may just do is move someone up to assist. I'd like to keep my guy with guard free to possibly deal with a cluster of guys moving forward in a cage. Can I reach the ball carrier? Yes, I can. I've got to go for it to hit him, though. I can hit him with a one-die block. That's not super great. It could be a lot worse, though. I'm going to keep my thrower back just in case things go horribly wrong. I'd like to possibly just hammer the ghoul that's here free. It's tempting to at least try to throw a block on the ball carrier, though, since I can. So I'm just going to cover the ghoul here for now.
They've gone into the opponent's tackle zone. They should be good.
So maybe next turn we can throw a block on him. Try to tie him up here a little bit. I'm not super comfortable having this flesh golem here free because he might come charging over and slam into me. But if that happens, that happens. So a little bit safer, I'm going to do this first. We'll throw the block here on the white.
They're gathering around that lone player, like halflings round a sandwich.
And then I think we'll go ahead and do the blitz and try to hit the ball carrier, see if we can just sort of cause some problems.
Put some pressure on the ball carrier. Move quicker.
Yeah, failed the going for it roll. Really don't like the going for it rolls.
For the ball.
I'm just going to push, but I've got strip ball. I'm not sure if he had sure hands or not. I'm not following that up. We're not going into that. The werewolf ends up with it. That's not good. Werewolves are also pretty fast. Decent agility. So that's not much of an improvement. I'm going to go ahead and move him up here so we've got tackle zones covering this whole area. And I'm going to move my guy with guard over just a little bit in case they're advancing on that side. That'll probably be it. Keep my thrower back just in case.
This is going to be decisive.
And just a push. And he's going to try to knock me out off the field here. Kind of setting up, this is kind of something you can do, is sort of set up in a position where you can push someone to the edge and then they'll have to dodge out of it, or you can kind of knock them off the field later. So now he's kind of going for the center to build a cage. I've got some guys behind, which might make it a little easier to get in there, possibly. I'd like to throw a block on the chainsaw guy as well, because if he goes down, he's got a better chance of hurting himself.
Unity is strength. Twinkle toes there.
crawls faster than a halfling on his way to a bun fight at 11.
Tying up my catcher down there. Interesting. Okay, what are we going to do? Now you can blitz if you're down, so potentially I could use him to throw a block here, but I think I'm going to be blitzing somewhere else most likely. If nothing else, maybe throwing a block on the ghoul here, or the goblin here, I mean. So I'll just stand him up for now. Could still throw a block with the catcher if I really wanted to. So I've got my guard lineman here. And let me just move him kind of in the way. It gives me an advantage for a block here.
Those players are very close. Smells like a fight is about to happen.
I'd like to get him in a little further, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'd like to get my blitzer out of this position. I've got decent agility, but that's probably going to be something I'm going to do later. I don't want to leave him there, but making the dodge roll isn't going to be super easy. It's not super impossible or anything either. I'll move him back a little bit in case they kind of break through. I've got somebody else back that I can use to deal with the situation. So I've got a block here I can throw, a block here I can throw with multiple dice. I don't really have a good way to get in towards the ball carrier.
You couldn't just walk into the crowd on a murderous rampage. No, you had to ask permission.
Not with an advantage, anyway.
These players have got it so lucky.
What I'm probably going to do is hit this zombie here
Smells like a good old
with a blitz. Try to get into the ball carrier from this direction. So I think we'll go ahead and try for that.
The attacker has an assist.
Just a push. Get him out of the way anyway. And then I'll move next to the ball carrier. It does make him a bit of a target,
This could be fun, especially if the ball
but anything to make things more difficult for him. Let's try to get him out of there. Okay, good.
moved right next to a
So
team.
I'll give an assist for a block there on the ghoul in the back. And we probably want to get our other blitzer up, taking part in things a little bit more. So I'm just going to kind of move him back, covering this side, at least for now. I'm a little worried about the opening here, but let's see what we can do with the blocks that we're going to throw. So we'll start here. He does have block and I don't, so it's a little dangerous.
Likes to be well assisted in the fight.
And I'm actually not going to follow that up. It would mean he'd have a pretty good advantage against my guy there for throwing a block, since he's got two guys to block, having multiple dice, all that kind of stuff. So what we can do here. Okay. So in this case, since I'm taking a guy down, I'll move up. Also be adjacent to the guy with guard. Got an injury too, that's nice.
Oh, that looks
So even though he regenerated, he's still off the field until play stops next. Actually gave me enough for a level up there too. That's cool. Yeah, and there I ran out of time. What I do is I often don't even look at the time, because if I'm watching the clock, then I typically will sort of make dumb decisions or rush myself sometimes. So I definitely want to do the important things first. So that's just kind of something that I do. It kind of helps me focus on things a little bit more. If I'm watching the clock all the time, then I will tend to do some stupid things sometimes. It just means occasionally I don't get a chance to throw a block or something. I do wish I could adjust the timer and stuff to have more time. Like in the previous game, you could go up to 8 minutes if you wanted to for your turn, which is plenty of time typically. Oh, injury. That's not good. What do we got?
That's why I love this game.
For armor value, that's fine. I'm going to hold on to my apothecary. It's very early in the game. I'm saving that for deaths and either strength or agility reductions. I knew he was kind of a big target being there, but hoping he wouldn't get injured. The High Elves do have okay armor. It's not terrible. So you can take some hits, a little bit more than, say, like Wood Elves or Goblins or Halflings or something like that. Or even Skaven, some of the Skaven. But still, having that apothecary, you want to use it for the really dangerous stuff, because you only get that one use per game. Well, maybe he'll fail going for it. No, I made it. Let's do that. Okay. So I'll be moving my player with guard right over and adjacent to the ball carrier. I'd like to hit both of these guys, but we'll go for the ball carrier. The catcher, I'd probably want to dodge out of that position, so I may wait to do anything with him. So who's going to throw the block on the ball carrier? And to get a shot in, I'd have to go for it a couple times, which is a little dangerous if I want to use a guy with block. He doesn't have block, so I don't necessarily need someone with block to do that. So I may use him. He's a little closer, a little bit easier. He'd have to go for it once to throw the block. But we'll do everything else first, moving people up. So the plan will be to have him be the one throwing the block. I will move. Is that going to be in the way? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can't really put somebody there. So I'm just going to kind of tighten up my defenses if I can here.
Witty and insightful soon. I'm just waiting for the players and the coach to do something. Anything! Please, just be interested.
Kind of chase down the ball kind of thing. I can move this catcher up to sort of help somewhere. I could also move him in a position where if I get the ball free, I can get the ball to him and he can run into the end zone. He might also draw somebody away, but he does have a goal back here. He'd probably just use him. So I'll continue kind of pairing these two together with him possibly providing the assist for the blitzer if I can move him in and get a hit somewhere. Or at least threaten from different directions. Makes it so he has to spend more guys to protect the ball carrier.
A great game so far. Seem to be having a little
So I'm going to move out here to sort of cover just in case everything goes wrong. I've at least got some tackle zone coverage on the side all the way to the edge. And then what I may do actually is move him down so he's within range of the end zone. In case the ball gets free, it's nice to have at least the option of somebody out there. Sometimes if you don't have anybody kind of prepared, then you won't be able to do it. So he's within one turn's move of the end zone, so if I can get the ball free and get it to him, he can just run in. So you can score quickly. So at least having that option is nice sometimes, because sometimes you end up in a position where there's just no chance of being able to do it. And at least then you have some kind of chance, even if it's not super great.
Don't need to get the ball forward. The end zone is in sight.
Well, that's not good. I can use a reroll here. Let's reroll. I should have probably just taken the block result because he would have gone down that way. I'm not going to follow up.
The only use for a ball, in my opinion.
Being in that position is not going to be safe at all. And then I'd like to move him out of there. And then maybe just adjacent to the star player. Keep him tied up. Still keeping my thrower here deep in case things go wrong. Yeah, I can score pretty quickly with agile teams, which is really nice. My guys have good agility. Anybody could potentially carry the ball or pass or catch. But the weakness is trying to get the ball away from your opponent. So if he builds a good cage, it's really hard to break into. I do have some guys with decent skills, but it's a little hard to get in sometimes. He's really going after my poor catcher there. I'm just going to send him over to cover my other catcher. That's too bad. Stun, that's not helpful. Chainsaw didn't work, that's good. Let's see what he does with his ball carrier. He's got some guys free in the ball carrier, so he may shift out this direction. Yeah, and then he'll use these guys to try to build a cage around him. So we can still sort of chase him around, but definitely difficult to deal with.
Come on, guys. Together.
Oh, another injury. That's not good. Long-term effect, fine. Okay. Okay. I'm whittling down my team here a bit. So what I'd like to do is free up this guy with guard so I can get him adjacent to the ball carrier, then use somebody to hit the ball carrier. That does require throwing a block first. It doesn't have block. I'm out of rerolls, so it is kind of dangerous. So what I'll at least do is move some people over to try to cover the direction he's kind of advancing. So the person who'd hit the ball probably would be him. Hit the ball carrier, that is. So I do have sort of tackle zone coverage here, and I can even move out even to here to cover everything else, or I could keep him deep. For now, I may keep him there. So let's try to free up my guy with guard and take out this chainsaw guy. Push.
the same time.
With fists flailing, he's following up, hoping to get the knockdown next
So
time.
now I've actually got a dodge out of there, which isn't too crazy. It's an 83% chance, I think. But with no rerolls, it definitely feels a little dangerous. Yeah, I'd like to get somewhere. Yeah, that's probably my best positioning without having to go for it and make a lot of dodge rolls.
Defensive pressure gathering.
So we'll use him and see if we can knock that ball free.
I like this. The dung is about to hit the fan.
Okay, he's going to go down. Knock him back and follow it up just to see where the ball goes.
Back on the ball carrier. Well, actually, you can do a lot of harm.
Usually we'll tend to go in the direction you knock the person. And actually, I'll go ahead and try to dodge through and get adjacent to the ball. Make it a little harder for him to get it. And we'll go for the ball, probably with my catcher here. Let's try to get away from him first. Just kind of run around to get in the way here a little bit. Actually had to use my dodge skill there. So let's try to pick it up. 83% chance, no rerolls. Okay, good. What can I do? Not really anywhere good I can move him with what little movement I've got. And no matter where I move him, he can move a lot of guys. Throw a block on him. For now, we'll just kind of stick next to my blitzer. But he can definitely get a multi-die block on him without too much trouble. What I could do is try to tie up this white a little bit more by moving him up, which would limit him to kind of zombie and ghouls going after the ball carrier. So yeah, we'll do that.
The players arrive to assist their teammate.
But I'm sure that ball carrier is going to get hammered.
Absolutely have to stop him. Or whatever.
Most like I'm thinking this zombie right here, who has block, will be the one going after him. God, he's just swarming that poor catcher. And here comes the block. Hopefully I can stay on my feet.
Put pressure on the ball.
Well, I've got dodge. So just a push, that's good.
Good defensive block.
These one-die blocks I will almost never do. The AI seems to do them a lot. He'll even do blocks where it's 2 dice and I get to pick because I've got a strength advantage. AI is a lot more aggressive about that kind of thing. It seems to work. Jeez, another injury. Man. This next game, man. Okay. Jeez. Okay, chainsaw didn't work. That's good. Definitely don't want that chainsaw around. Yeah, he's just beating me up pretty bad here. I know it's probably the white that has the mighty blow. No, it's just the guy with block. Well, let's get this guy up. We could move over to have an assist to try to throw a block on this guy. It's not a terrible thing. It's not a high priority, but it's something we could try to do. And we'll just try to tie up some of his guys here. Tying up his faster guys if we can. Kind of watching the turns here too. I can move pretty quickly, so it's not super crazy for me to get towards the end zone. Just haul butt down there. Kind of moving in here. We want to try to tie up his whites and his one werewolf, kind of leaving the ghouls. At least this one's tied up. I'm going to move out of here, probably move over just to protect the ball carrier, or not. A lot of 83% will fail. It's one of those things when you're playing the board game, you know, if you rev bad die rolls, oh, my luck is really terrible. When you play the AI, there's always kind of that, is the AI cheating? It sometimes feels that way. Next, I would have tried to throw a block here against the chainsaw guy. If that had gone okay, I would have moved the catcher adjacent to the ball carrier, some additional protection. Let's see what he can do. Hopefully not take me out.
On the edge of the field, within
okay, we'll stay on our feet.
range of the fans, and they're looking.
Unfortunately, I'm in a position where I'm taking a lot of blocks, which I'd like to avoid. Sometimes you do have to hang up as players as much as possible. And I'm definitely paying for it. I'm taking a lot of injuries here so far. So his one die blocks turning out well for him. For me, almost never works. I usually don't even try a one die block unless it's absolutely the only thing I can do. There's a chainsaw, unfortunately.
Catch or run with a ball, they're constantly riding around on the ground.
So at this point, I can reach the end zone. I probably will just do that. I will go ahead and get the other guys up in case I fail something. Just so I can respond if the ball does go free somehow. Like I fail a dodge roll, something like that. I'd like to get him out of this position, but I don't want to risk anything. I just want to get out of here. And we're just going to head in for the score.
The ball is in the end zone, and according to Knuckles,
And so if I can get the ball, I can actually score pretty quickly.
Boom! Touchdown!
It's getting the ball away from your opponents that's the problem. And there's a lot of teams kind of like that. Skaven, especially, very, very fast.
down under their belt. We can
Yeah,
fight
three
to get
guys.
this match started.
That's not helpful. These chainsaw guys off because play stopped.
Notice the team's secret weapon?
So again, I'm kicking off because I scored, even though we just had the ball. all my guys. He's taking out 2 of my catchers and 1 of my linemen here. And the lineman was the one with guard. So that kind of sucks. But do the same. We're trying to limit how many blocks he can throw against my guys, having a defense that's a little bit further back. I just have to go through a couple turns of him with the ball, so hopefully he can't score in that time. And then with, because I didn't start with the ball, then I'll get it for the second half. I'm just throwing everybody on the front line. So in this case, he does have somebody right there in the position. I'm going to try kicking it a little bit closer. Throwing it.
Well, it's okay. Some say it's perfect for playing Blood Bowl in.
So it's not very accurate. Wow, that's not good, being right on the line there. Yeah, it's super inaccurate, it seems like. And I felt like in the previous game it wasn't quite so inaccurate. But it's all die rolls, so I don't have anybody with a kick skill either. So in this kind of position, if he can move the ball forward, he might be able to score, but he's actually got to move it forward from here right now.
He won't leave him alone anytime soon.
So yeah, he didn't actually move it forward, so there's no way he can score in the time that's left.
That's it. Force him back and then pow!
So what I may want to do on my turn is just go after his ghouls or the werewolf, something like that. I don't think I can get to the werewolf, but the ghouls, at least one of them, I could possibly get a good hit on. See if I can maybe get an injury. Even things out a little bit since he's gotten 3 on me. Yeah, I don't think I can get multiple die block on that ghoul. Yeah, I don't see how I can. So I'll just throw some blocks and see what I can do. I'm not too worried because he just has the 1 more turn to move forward, and there's no way he can score. He doesn't have enough movement to get that far. I may go ahead and send some people around to chase, although maybe going after the star player in the back here next turn if I can. If I can at least throw a block on him, at least have the chance of maybe doing an injury, that'd be nice. Kind of looking for positions I can get to where I can get multiple die blocks.
Sorry, Bob, you caught me polishing my teeth.
Why are you polishing your fangs, Jim?
Since we are now zapped across the old world in high destiny, cabal vision, the viewers can see everything, so I need to look my best.
Alright, let's throw a block here, see if we can do anything.
Unity is strength.
And again, I'm not going to follow that up. I'm moving in a position where he'd have a big advantage, so I'm going to stay where I'm at, keep the line intact. He does have block and I don't, so this is a little dangerous, but we'll go ahead and go for it. Yeah. That's the problem with that. I've got no rerolls, so I'll go down. That'll be it. That's the danger of blocking people who have block when you don't. Even if you got multiple dice, it can often turn out bad for you. So I knew that was a possibility, but I didn't have much else I could do. So this is his last turn. No way he can score.
The attacker has an assist.
So he'll just be beating up on my guys a bit. But the ghouls and the werewolf are definitely targets for me for the next turn. I'm not concerned at all about stopping him moving forward. It's just getting hurt in on his agile guys and his fast guys.
Not a wise place to end your turn on
Yes,
the
there's
ball
another
of the pitch.
kind of bad position and throwing a 1-die block, and it comes out just fine for him.
Last time that happened, it took 3 days to piece the body back together.
Yep, another 1-die block coming up good for him. So last turn of the half. What can I do? I've got an advantageous block there. I may keep some of these guys down because I could potentially blitz with somebody who's down. But it's not really good positioning anywhere to hit anybody that's important. Potentially, I'd have to go for it a few times. I could blitz with this guy, dodge out, try to hit the ball carrier. So that's a possibility, but it's a bit risky. So I'm just going to start off with trying to take care of this guy.
Like halflings round a sandwich.
So now I've got some guys free. So it'll give me a block there if I deal with the star player. And I could possibly even move over and foul somebody that's down, like this guy. It's not super likely it would work, but I'm already down 3 guys, so it's a little risky to possibly lose somebody doing that. Up here, I don't have a lot of options. I can throw a 1-die block with him if I blitz him. I could move him out here for an assist and then throw a block with the catcher. If I can blitz with him and take this guy out, or at least move him, then I've got a multiple die block here with an advantage. So as much as I don't like to do it in this kind of situation where it's totally safe, I'll go ahead and do it. He can't score, half's almost over. So we'll see with the 1-die if we can get him out of there. I've got block and you don't. Nice. I got an injury, that's good too. So star player is out for the game. Excellent. Doesn't actually matter, just moving him over next to the ghoul, because I'm going to throw a block there too. It doesn't affect the die roll, it's not enough. I'd need another person to have double the strength to actually get 3 dice. Can I get somebody else? I don't think so. No, I don't think there's any way. So I'll throw a block on the ghoul, see if we can hurt him too. That would be nice. And just a push. Taking out that star player really helps though. So there's 2 star players. One is out having a secret weapon. The other one is out from an injury already. That's really good. I really don't have much of anything else that is that good for me to do. So I do have a 2-die block here, but he is block and I don't, which is kind of what happened to me last time. I had blitz already, so I could potentially move my thrower up, and then if I still had blitz, I could use him to blitz the ball carrier and hit him. I already used my blitz, so I can't do that. So really, that's about the only thing I can do is that 2-die block. But a little bit of a disadvantage. Actually, it's a 1-die block. Yeah, that's fine. Not really anything else I could have done there anyway.
Do you think there's going to be any action at all in this game? I'd like to see something happen, or I'm just going to go and watch Game of Thrones instead.
Best defense is a good offense.
And he only steals one of my rerolls again. That's good. And you can see I'm missing a lot of guys, so my setup here is a little goofy. Yeah, that's pretty goofy. So I've got kickoff return with my thrower now, so I'm going to keep him the only person deep. He'll go after the ball. I'm down to 2 catchers, unfortunately. So he's kicking, so this is definitely his setup, so I know what he's doing. It's a little stronger on this side with the werewolf and the white, as opposed to the white and the zombie. So I'm going to put my tougher guys over here, probably plan on advancing that direction. He doesn't have anyone right on the line, so it's fairly safe to be right on the line, which just means it's a little closer to the end zone for me to get there. Pretty close with star player points for the 2 of these, so it doesn't really matter to me which one scores. Something you do want to keep in mind sometimes is who you want to score. If guys are really close to leveling up, or someone has a ton of star player points, you don't necessarily want them to score, even though they're a little better at it. This guy who's going to level up, I may not want to put on the front line either. I don't want to put the reduced armor guy on the front line. So I've got a person with block adjacent to him with block. I have to move him out of there.
Before, Jim. We lost, if I remember right. Lost the ball, at any rate. Couldn't find it under a big pile of corpses. I got it. I was a little grumpy that
And I
day.
put a guy who has very few star player points across from his flesh golem. I've got to have the 3 on the line. I could possibly just move him out so he's not even adjacent or something, but that's something you can do if you really want to, is sort of avoid the tough guy on the front line. It kind of makes your positioning a little lopsided, but sometimes it's safer to do that. Yeah, I could potentially move him over, then him over, then no one is across from the flesh golem. I go first, so it's not that big of an issue. I've got sort of a pocket here, so yeah, we can do that. So no one's really stuck to that flesh golem. And I've got 2 guys with block there, so that makes it a little bit better.
Touchdowns are coming. The studio wizard has promised me at least one.
So we can do kind of a weird setup here just to try to avoid this flesh golem, have the minimum number of guys on the line. See where the ball ends up. And I can be right there. Maybe I can catch the ball, that'd be nice. And I get another reroll, that's good. Oh, come on. Oh, starting to cook in here a little bit. Just having the fan here going is not quite enough for today. Like I said earlier, it's about 90 degrees outside today, and I've got a cooler that I usually have running, a little portable cooler thing, but it's super noisy, so I can't really run it and be streaming at the same time.
That's it. Get in their face.
So I'm going to plan on blitzing the white there. Is there anything else I want to do first? Maybe. Let's see if I can tie up those faster guys on this side of the field.
Smells like a good old-fashioned fight.
Does mean I'll probably be taking some hits if he doesn't try to get away from them and just decides to throw blocks instead. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. See if we can make a little bit of an opening here.
More the merrier.
This is going to be decisive.
I'll go down, just this. I'll go ahead and follow up. May not be the best positioning, but I can move some other people up. So I want to move adjacent to the ghoul if I can.
They've gone into the opponent's tackle zone. Should be good.
And what I think I'm going to do, as dangerous as it is, I'll move him up. And then I can throw a block here with an advantage, free up this guy.
Come on, guys. Together.
Like I said, I do sometimes feel like my instincts are to hit things a little bit too much, and this might be one of those cases where I probably shouldn't be beating on people so much and moving adjacent to him as much. Let's try to get the ball.
They picked up the ball. I suppose
Okay.
I should say something memorable or fun.
Move over here. I do have the ability to throw pretty well, so I can kind of move up the field with him if I want, or I can move up the field and have somebody who can catch on the other side. If he shifts a bunch of guys over this direction, I could possibly move my catcher up and have a target I can throw across the field to. Just kind of protecting him. It's a lot of dodge rolls to dodge around the side, so I probably won't do that yet. I'm kind of anticipating that they might shift over, which then might make an opening for my catcher to run up this side. So you can sort of fake one direction if you're quick, and then sort of readjust back, especially when you're playing a slower team. So Undead, mostly slower. He's got Werewolves of the Necromantic team, so they're not super slow. But if you're playing something like Dwarves or Chaos Dwarves, most of their players are quite slow, so you can kind of move one direction but then quickly shift to the other if you need to, especially if they overcommit to one side. So we'll see if I can kind of get them to overcommit this way. I'm hoping my ball is going to be safe.
Fantastic.
What was that, Jim?
What, Bob?
The whole fantastic thing?
Oh, I'm just trying to introduce a catchphrase. My agent says it will help for future guilds.
Don't do it again.
So he's blitzing there, only getting a push. That's good.
This player, the attacker, smells weakness.
Good for me, anyway. And another just a push. I really like it when my guys can stay on their feet.
He's on him now, like a halfling on a hot dinner.
This guy's probably going down. No, just a push.
That player is looking rather smug for remaining upright. Pride comes before us.
Still on these one-die blocks. We might do that with a werewolf then too. I really like one of these to end up biting him in the butt. I didn't do anything with the werewolf actually. Yeah, just got kind of a good solid line of guys in my way here, hanging me up.
They're getting up close and personal, Bob.
You need to be close.
So just kind of moving in positions where I can get some advantageous blocks. Probably want to move some guys out if I can. Let's see if we can clear out the direction forward here.
Likes to be well assisted in a fight.
And I'm going to stay put there for the assist of my other guy.
One more step.
If I left that position, then he's got additional guys on this poor sucker. I've got some rerolls, so I could do a little bit more aggressive blocking if I wanted, potentially dodging out of positions that are disadvantageous, like here. And try to get him out of that position.
Anybody catch the ball tonight?
In case things go horribly wrong somewhere else, and get a little bit of protection for my ball carrier.
Solid tactic.
I'd like to get him out of there as well. So kind of doing this just in case anything else goes wrong. I plan on throwing a few blocks before I move forward. I don't really have a good position to go to. I'd like to free things up here and maybe get my catcher downfield, but I've got an advantageous block here, although I don't have block, and he does. We'll give it a shot.
Is the assist going to be enough to come out on top?
And I'll stay where I'm at. One die block here we'll go ahead and go for. I don't really like doing this, but it'll work out okay.
They just got owned. That's what the cool kids are saying these days, isn't it?
Be happier if that was a stun or an injury, but it'll be okay. So I can move out of this position. I can throw a one-die block on the ghoul. If I move out of this position, it's not really doing me a lot of good. Could potentially move him forward to help cover the ball carrier if I move him forward as well. So that's probably what I'm going to do.
Any advice? Violence, Jim. It's the only answer.
And in this position, I've got a couple options. It's not super well protected. He can get to me from here. He could also blitz with the zombie. But if he doesn't take me down, then I might be able to knock that zombie off the edge of the field. Might have been safer to keep my ball somewhere like here.
Now that's a holding maneuver, if ever I saw one.
But if I can get it forward a little bit, then I get a little bit closer to the end zone. With a movement of 8 and then being able to go for it, possibly, I might even be within range already. I'd have to count it out. I'm not quite sure. But it's probably more tempting to just knock that zombie off the field. I don't want to score too quickly in this kind of position. I'd like to leave my opponent as little time as possible with the ball if I can. Sometimes it's not feasible, especially with an agile team. They often tend to be kind of weak and get beat up a lot. So sometimes you just want to score as quickly as you can to end the down and end play because you're getting beat up so badly. There's a one die that finally fails.
Now, can they capitalize on this?
Nice getting a turnover. So here I'll move him up for an assist. Block there. In case things go really wrong, I'm going to move him over in this position. Here I'd like to get this player out of here, so I may wait. This player adjacent there is fine. I just don't want anybody next to that flesh golem if I can avoid it. It'd be nice to move someone up for an assist for a block here. If I was going to do that, I really wouldn't want to leave somebody on the edge of the field when he's got players free. What I could do is blitz with him and hit and move him out and then continue moving down the field. It's only if I don't have any other blitzes I would want to do, and it's a little bit iffy. So we'll do kind of the important things first. Most likely I'll use a blitz over here because what I'm thinking of doing is just using a block with the thrower to push the zombie off the field. I could blitz with the thrower as well and push him off and then try to move forward. But I'd want to kind of clear the way forward first a little bit if I can.
I'll give it a miss. I may not be the sharpest spike on the armor, but I'm not that stupid.
So we're just going to work in the back here first.
Going to be decisive.
That's it. Force them back and then pow!
Yeah, to free people up, I'm going to go ahead and just do this. All I want is a push, really. So that's fine.
Smiling on those blocking dice, Bob.
Knuckles always smiling.
And off he goes. Looks like no injury, though.
Which side is important?
But he'll be out until play stops. So what I think I'm going to do is actually go ahead and blitz here. I'll hit the ghoul, try to make a forward opening, and then I'll move out of that position. I don't want him to stay on the edge of the field.
And in general,
He's got
fags are
dodge.
much more
I do have
dangerous than
tackle,
players.
so that'll take care of that. Got a KO, good. It's actually, I haven't seen any KOs this game, I don't think. And then we'll move up the other ghoul. So then we're back here. Just kind of moving them around in case things break up. I might have someone else I can get the ball to if I need to. Like to get this player out of that position, so we're going to move him out here. And I've got a couple one-die blocks I can throw if I really want to. I'll try again here just to see, since I do have the reroll. Don't really like moving up into that position, but I will.
One more step in.
And then a one-die block where he has block and I don't is really not a good idea, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to try to get out of there. And then we'll kind of move up to sort of assist the blitzer there. So he does have these guys free, but they're a little slow, far away from what's going on.
This player likes to be well assisted in a fight.
Headbutt.
That's a strike made with
That's too
technique
bad.
and precision.
It's the advantage of block. It really is very, very helpful.
So high. Just one more step.
Okay. So I think it's about 78 in here, 90 outside, so getting cooked. Might be higher than 78, I can't see the thermometer. Ugh. Alright, you can just stand up to get in the way. Got decent blocks there already. Guy free here. We'll just stand these guys up as well. Just keep them occupied. Like to get my catcher away.
He's coming to help his buddy. That's gonna hurt.
Try to get out of there. Okay, good. I'm actually moving down here, so if I want to, I can blitz with my down blitzer, hit the ghoul, and get out of that position. At least that's an option if I want to. So I'll throw a block here. with the guy with block.
Is this gonna be enough
Try to
come out
free
on
up
top?
another player. Sometimes it's like picking apart a knot or something, the way that they can kind of get clustered up, especially if people have guard and stuff. It can really take a little while to sort of unravel the defenses they've got going. Sometimes you run out of time trying to do it. So with him, I think I'm just going to try to tie up the white. Try to, anyway.
Close. Smells like a fight is about to happen.
Yeah, he has block. So it's a little risky, but I haven't used a reroll yet. I'll try to get him out of there.
Pressure on the ball. It's a good move.
Stun, that's helpful. And we'll go ahead and do the blitz here. You just have to declare the blitz before you stand up. And he doesn't have block. Injury, nice.
Must really hurt.
Lose a point of strength. That's a pretty bad one. How far can you get? Not super far. So I'm just kind of inching forward. Like I said, sometimes you do want to burn a lot of time off the clock if you can. If you score too quickly and give your player, the opponent, a lot of time to play with, then it makes it a lot easier for them to score. Especially some of the bruiser teams will sometimes be very slowly kind of grinding you down and moving down the field. So it can take them 4 or 5 turns sometimes to score, especially teams like dwarves that are a little slower. They're going to tend to want to cluster up in a big mass and sort of grind through your guys moving forward.
That player is about to get punched above and below the belt at the same time.
So there I'm surprised he didn't push me away from his white, so his white would be free, but instead he wants to throw the block.
Like halflings round a sandwich.
You'd think he'd want him free to go after the ball.
Surrounded by adversaries.
And there's one of those times where he's going to throw a block with a strength disadvantage, and it turns out okay. And I will never do that, even if it's, you know, one guy going for the ball.
He's following up.
I'll put someone adjacent to someone in a bad position, but I'll never throw a block where I have a strength disadvantage like that.
Werewolves do make good Blood Bowl players.
And there, because of his frenzy ability, he's doing the same thing. This time, it's going to work against him. And that's one of the reasons I actually don't like Frenzy. If you get a push, that first block, you automatically throw another block. And you can end up in a position where it's safe the first time, but if you move forward and throw that additional block, you're at a disadvantage. And that's exactly what happened there. So I don't really like Frenzy that much for my players. I don't think I've ever selected it for anybody. So because of that turnover, it puts me in a really good position here where I can just move in and score. I've got some blocks I may want to throw first just because I have an advantage. If they go wrong, then it's over. So something you can do sometimes, especially if things are going really well and you're beating up the opposing team, is moving right next to the end zone, maybe having some people protecting the ball carrier, and just beating the snot and surrounding and fouling the opposing team. It's more of a tactic for kind of bruiser teams, but it sometimes will work if you're more agile and can swarm people occasionally. Or you just want to throw a few blocks or fouls before things go forward in the game. So we'll just throw a block here.
Has an assist.
I don't have too many that I want to do just because it is kind of risky. Because it's 100%, I can just walk right into the end zone and score. There's no die rolls or anything I have to make. Totally safe to do that. So if I want to throw block against the white, I really want to have someone with block doing it. So I do have people who can. And I can even get 3 dice on him. So yeah, why not? Well, I needed to move one more guy. It's more than double to get the 3 dice. Still turns out okay. Yeah, and this is a case where I could definitely foul this white if I wanted to. I've got plenty of guys free, but a foul, it's a little more risky to do when I've got a guaranteed score. I'm also down a bunch of players, so if I end up messing it up and losing, well, even if I succeed, you have a chance of that fouling player going off the field. So it can be kind of risky, especially if you're low on guys. You may not want to do any fouls, just in case. Looking at the star player points, another thing I could do is I could hand off to my catcher and have him go in because he has a lot fewer star player points than my thrower does. My agility makes that relatively safe. Okay. So we'll have him actually score the touchdown.
This looks like the end. They can't catch up such a big gap.
Yeah, so when I started this, I was feeling definitely a little rusty because it's been a little while, and I haven't streamed because it's been so hot. I was hoping for things to cool off, but getting cooked and actually doing okay, so not too rusty anyway. I may be blocking a bit too much, which is my typical thing that I'll do from my experience playing bruiser teams. I often, even with agile teams, will do that a bit more than I should.
Despite being in the lead,
So I think everything's kind of set the way I want it.
They'll want to get it back as soon as they can.
Yeah, this will be fine, I think. So we'll see what kind of setup he'll do. So he's going to have 4 turns once he's got the ball. So hopefully I can at least stall him to be able to not even score in that time. And like usual, if I do have this free, I'll go ahead and try to kick for this. Just because I want the ball to definitely try to stay on the field. I don't have anybody with the kick skill. And I get to change my setup. Where's the ball going to end up? Well, again, it's all the way back here, so hopefully it'll stay in play. If it ends up bouncing off, then he'll get to pick somebody to have it. So what I'm going to do is sort of readjust and make it so there's nobody adjacent to this flesh golem, just to sort of limit how many guys I'm going to get hammered by him at the start of his turn. And what I'll do again is we'll switch over, so my guy with strip ball will be on the same side as the ball, just in case he tries to come up that direction. And other than that, not any real changes I want to make, so that's fine.
On balance, I prefer
Okay, stayed in play, that's good.
running down the field. The one tactic is for the intellectual elite. The other is for simpletons.
I like running down the field, so whatever type I am.
There's a little bit of an opening there, but I've got these guys back to sort of cover that. Looks like he's going to try to exploit and break through here. Let's see what he does with the ball. It'd be really nice if he fails the ball pickup roll. Having played Undead, I know that happens a lot. But no, not this time. Just a push.
Good call. Intimidation is the key. It's one of my strengths when I was still playing.
He's going to go for it twice here. Kind of dangerous. That works out. That's too bad.
A safe progression. It's going to be hard to make him lose the ball.
Something going wrong for him. And going wrong for him again. From having played the previous game so much, I love the turnover sound, as it's usually my opponent doing something that causes the turnover to happen. So chase over towards the ball here with my faster guys on this side. Toughen things up so I at least have one kind of block I can throw here with some advantage.
So close they can smell your breath and see the dead insects in your teeth.
And then I think what we'll do is blitz with him, hit the werewolf, and then if we can take him out, move in from this direction as well.
He'll get an assist now.
Hopefully take care of the werewolf anyway. Good. Excellent, excellent. So he's out for the rest of the play. Till play stops. That's super helpful. I'm not going to move adjacent. I could move adjacent to just the white, but I want to make it difficult for him to advance. Leave my guy free if I can. Less likely to get hammered as well. Try to threaten the ball carrier from as many different angles and stuff as we can. Just kind of setting things up for next turn there, possibly. Just in case, kind of shifting him over into this gap. Going to keep the thrower deep here for now. So I do have an advantageous block here. We both have block.
This is going to be decisive.
Now I could leave him here to kind of help deal with these guys. I could move him out on the edge for a possible additional assist. I can move around and try to tie up the zombie. The most tempting thing, since I'm closing in here, would be to tie up the zombie if I can. I try to do it from this angle. The direction you block from dictates where you push people to. So possibly I can get in a position that makes it harder for him to move towards the ball, and if I can get a block on him, I can move him away from the ball. So just thinking about angles of attack, assists, those kind of things when you're putting your guys in different positions. And then tackle zone coverage, things like that as well. So he's going to run way out to the left here, which is a little surprising because I'm a bit faster than most of his players. He does have those downed guys there. He can maybe move back to have some additional protection.
Those players are very close. It smells like a fight is about to happen.
But I'm pretty sure I can get a couple guys onto that ball carrier. Well, he's going down. trying to put some guys in the way to make it a little bit more difficult. But I still think I can get around.
Come on,
See,
guys.
that's crazy.
Spirit is the key. Well, except for me, obviously.
In this case, it doesn't go his way, but he's done that. The AI has done that a lot, and it almost always goes its way. I think this is the only game I've had where they hasn't resulted in at least a push for my player. So in case things go wrong, I'll move him kind of in this general direction. Keep my thrower deep, although I may move him over just a little bit so I can get all the way to the edge if I need to.
Safety in numbers.
Just trying to see what I can do about clearing a path towards that ball carrier if I can. So I'll start by trying to take him out.
Unity is strength.
He's on him now, like a halfling on a hot dinner.
Not as many good options as I was hoping for, anyway. I may have to blitz one of these zombies, take them out, and then move people adjacent to the ball carrier and just have some people on him for the turn instead of actually hitting him. So we'll plan for that anyway.
More the merrier.
This player likes to be well assisted in a fight.
This could be a sack. I love it when that happens.
I can't get an assist to throw a block here. I do have block and he doesn't, so I may do that since I've got rerolls. And then what I'll just do is put another person on the ball carrier.
They'll need to get rid of the ball now there's pressure on them.
I wouldn't mind getting him out of this position. I don't really want the flesh golem hitting him. So we'll try for that first. And then we'll just tie him up, just being somewhere we're not going to get hit by that flesh golem. And we'll go ahead and go for this block. Works out just fine. sort of closing in around in here. He can definitely break out this way pretty easily, but I've got some guys further down that could possibly deal with that as he moves forward. I've only got one turn left after this. I do have some people that might be in a position, if I can get the ball free, if I can get to them, they can get in. So I think we're doing okay. He's only got 2 turns. It's really going to depend on where he gets that ball to this turn.
They've gone into the opponent's tackle zone. They should be good.
Going for it with the Flesh Golem. Fail! Fail! Ah, that's too bad.
Is the assist going to be enough to come out on
Just
top?
a push. Okay.
Well done. You helped the ball carrier.
Where's the ball carrier going? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to see. I'm sure I can stop him from scoring. It's just whether or not I might be able to score would be kind of interesting. Oh, it's going all the way out there. Made the dodge. Huh, okay. Didn't expect him to run out to that side. It's the power of block. It's looking okay. He's the one who's got block. Doesn't really matter too much who hits that guy. So I'd like to free up my catcher here. He'd be the main person who could possibly, if I get the ball to him, get in the end zone. So I want to clear that. But I also want to head towards the guy with the ball and see if I can knock it free. But then I've got to get the ball once it's down and get it to the catcher. So that's probably the more difficult part.
The thing about Blood Bowl is how it brings everyone together in a common joy of death. You have orcs, dwarfs, men, and even beastmen sharing the delightful violence in the same stadium and all desperate to see some shredding death.
Okay, we're going to go for it here to get adjacent for an assist.
Down we go.
Yeah, this is why I hate going for it rolls. There goes my reroll for the turn.
Get next to the ball carrier so
I've
you can
only gone for it a couple times this game, so I think, yeah, my stats for going for it is probably 50% failure at this point. We can't really make it to hit the ball carrier, so we're just going to stand him up. Probably be using him to blitz to hit the ball carrier. Him to block to free up the catcher. And the problem is getting the ball from wherever it goes to the catcher. So this I'm a bit more concerned about. Got to make the dodge roll here. Okay. Let's see if we can knock the ball free.
They had to retreat a little. It was getting dangerous.
Nope. That's too bad.
Their player is looking rather smug for remaining upright. Pride comes before a fall.
Well, it just kind of leaves beating up on guys for me, I guess. Take him down. We are not following that up. I don't want to be adjacent to the Flesh Golem.
Put some pressure on the ball carrier. Move quicker.
So I'll do any blocks where I have an advantage first, and then we'll kind of go from there. Double attacker down. So even with 2 dice, things can go against you. I've had games where that's come up a lot. That's why rerolls are so important. Don't skimp on the rerolls. It does make it harder once you're a more advanced team and you've got a higher team value. Oh, there she's got that. It turns out okay on the reroll. But yeah, once you've got that advanced team value compared to your opponents, and they're taking that halfling mastership all the time and stealing your rerolls, it really gets disheartening because you end up in positions where it's just nothing you can do. You should have rerolls, but you don't. Oh, injury at the very end of the game. Okay, no long-term effect. Fine. I've had people get killed in the very last turn of the game, so that's why I'm holding on to that apothecary. We made that dodge roll there. And another bad block from him. It'll be the end of the game.
After that match, I need to change my undergarments. Take a while I constitution.
Yeah, do your consta whatever somewhere else, Stinky.
So considering how I felt kind of rusty at the start of this, it turned out okay. 2, we'll reroll, see if we get something better. Apparently we got a 2 again. It didn't look like it rerolled. Okay. Fan factor goes up though. So I had 11 armor breaks. I had 9. Ball possession, not super far off. Occupation, I don't really know exactly where some of this comes from. Actually, I didn't get any passes that game, which is kind of interesting. 35 blocks, 2 KOs, 3 injuries. 53 blocks, 4 injuries. He actually had quite a bit of running. I didn't realize he had quite so much. Four casualties, 3 casualties. I actually got a lot of star player points for not winning the game. I had a pretty good mix as well. So that was, what, the second game of the second round robin. So I'm in first place with 2 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses. We've got Skaven, 1-1, Chaos Dwarf. There's actually 2 Chaos Dwarf teams in this campaign here. Vampires, winning a loss. Goblins, winning a loss. Other Chaos Dwarf, winning a loss. Kislev Circus and Necromantic, 2 losses.
Yeah, I've got my McBurdy Squig Burger and my XXXL.
I'm always kind of curious how it comes up with the actual scores for the games. Sometimes it seems like, especially in the previous game, the goblins would often do quite well and get a lot of points. But then when I played them, I would just decimate them. So you can kind of see the previous game here. Where am I? 2-0 against the Chaos Dwarves in the last one. So I've got some guys who are going to level up. A bunch of guys got injured, though, too. Looks like I've got 2 guys will be out for the next game. That's going to be kind of crappy. Just 1 lineman leveled up. So yeah, I think block is probably the best to start with. All of my guys are pretty agile, so you could do different things with them as well. If you wanted to turn a lineman into someone who's going to go after the ball with a kick return, or if you're going to try to have dodge with them, or catch. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do with the high agility. My guys are pretty expensive, so I can't really afford another player, so I'm going to have 12 guys for the next game. So that's affecting my value here down to 1,500. I do have some money. Actually, I don't have any cheerleaders or coaching assistants. I usually put some points into there. Fan factor is actually getting quite high. It does affect your team value if you put guys or points into your cheerleaders and coaches assistants, but it helps on those rolls to see if you're going to get extra rerolls and things, which I like.
great company to be affiliated with. Any
Actually, who am I
problems you
playing
may
next,
have
and what is their
are
rating?
coincidental.
Actually, the
Isn't
same
that
as
the
me,
company
so yeah,
that you
I might
owe
as
a
well
great
go
deal of
ahead
bad
and do that.
gambling debts to?
That has nothing to do with my
So I'll pick up a couple cheerleaders,
spontaneous
a couple coaching
endorsement.
assistants. Just increases my chance for the kickoff rolls on getting some good benefits. Yeah, I still think this is the Kiss Up Circus team. The furry entertainers, I think, is just hilarious for some reason. I don't know why. But something about it just is funny. And I really like the colors, makes them look like a whole team of angry Santa Clauses. But anyway, I think that's going to be about it for today. I'm kind of cooking here. I need to turn my little portable cooler thing back on so I don't die in the heat. But it's just too noisy to stream with that thing on. So I really appreciate watching. I do put these games up on my YouTube channel as well after they've been on Twitch for a while. Twitch only saves them for a couple weeks, so I don't want them to disappear completely. So I do have a YouTube channel, which is also Disturbing Puppet. So if you're interested, please check out games there. I've got a bunch of Blood Bowl stuff, but also a few other games that I play occasionally. And I do occasionally play other things on this as well. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much. So hopefully see you next time. Thank you. Bye.